Everybody loves forests, where they combine an incredible depth of biodiversity and natural beauty. One of the best ways to spend a relaxing afternoon is to take a hike through a forest. However, there are some forests across the world that contain mysteries, such as the Rendlesham Forest UFO incident or the Crooked Forest of Poland with its weird curve-shaped pine trees. Today, with our friend Michael Scott, we'll be exploring some spooky forests. At the end of the video, make sure to check out Michael's latest video where he explores a well-known haunted forest called Thompsons Creek Woods. His video is quite creepy and intriguing. Let's explore 6 of the strangest forest mysteries from around the world. Number 6. The Mysterious Pillars. The mysterious ornate pillar was spotted in a hotel lobby in 2013 by historian Louis Cerner. Cerner was intrigued by all the symbols on the pillar, including the Templar cross, and asked the hotel employees about the pillar in an attempt to learn more. The employees told Cerner that it was nothing more than a trail marker, and he realised he would need to contact the original owner of the hotel to get more information. After getting in touch with the owner, he was told that a rancher had discovered the pillar in a forest in New Mexico. Cerner believed there was more to the story and was keen to continue investigating. He approached the US Forest Service and learned that the pillar in the hotel wasn't the only one. Another stone pillar had been discovered in Carson National Forest. The second pillar was found among other stones that were considered grave markers. Well, Cerner was skeptical about what he'd learned, believing the pillars might have been used by ancient explorers looking to colonize the area. Cerner is hopeful that one day archaeologists will look into his theory and come up with an explanation for the origin and original purpose of the stone pillars. Until then, this remains a mystery. Number 5. The Forest of Missing Children. The Angeles National Forest of Southern California was established back in 1908, and it has a total of 5 designated wilderness areas. The forest is a regulated California landmark, and it also includes a number of spots for camping and picnics. There is, however, a darker side to the forest. It has also been the scene of a number of unsolved disappearances, earning it the name the Forest of Missing Children. 11-year-old Brenda Howell and 13-year-old Donald Lee Baker disappeared in 1956. They left home on their bikes eager to explore the San Gabriel Canyon area, and they never made it back home. The area was searched extensively, but all that was found were the 2 bikes the children were riding and the jacket Donald was wearing. A year later, in 1957, 2 brother-in-laws headed out for a hike in the Arroyo Seco area with their children. The oldest, 8-year-old Tommy Bowman, ran ahead of the group. He ran up the trail and disappeared around a corner. When the others reached the corner, he had disappeared and was nowhere to be found. No trace of Tommy was ever found. Another incident occurred in 1960 when 6-year-old Bruce Howard was part of a camping trip with 80 other children and adults. The group were camping in the Buckhorn Flat when Bruce became tired around 275 meters from the camp, and the supervisor told him to return to camp. The supervisor watched Bruce until he was almost back at the camp and then continued on the hike with everyone else. It was just a few minutes later when the group discovered Bruce never reached the camp, and the young boy was never found. It is suspected that the serial sex offender and child molester Mac Ray Edwards had been involved in the disappearances, and even confessed to the murders of Donald Baker and Brenda Howell. However, he was never tried for the crimes because there wasn't enough evidence, and he later committed suicide. Number 4. Picani Forest Mysteries. The Picani Forest of Latvia is fraught with mystery and myth. There are legends that visitors in ancient times would take rocks into the forest as a penance for the sins they had committed. The rocks would also be a symbol of them being absolved of their sins. Considering that the story is just a myth, there is still plenty of mystery about the origins of the rocks in the forest. The rocks have been grouped together in a specific sequence around 30 hills. Rumours are spread that the rocks hold healing powers, given that some of them can be hot, and there are stories that other rocks hold destructive powers. Visitors to the forest are advised against taking any of the rocks home as souvenirs because to do so may bring them bad luck. The forest is also home to an old pine tree where the temperature is somehow hotter than any part of the forest. Some people who visit the forest believe that the anomaly, coupled with watches and compasses, malfunction in the forest could be a sign that the forest is a gateway to another dimension or parallel universe. Strange lights have also been witnessed in the forest, which have shown up in photos. Number 3. Disappearance of Lars Mittank. A group of friends arrived in Bulgaria for their Golden Sands holiday in July 2014. Among them was 20-year-old German student Lars Mittank. Problems suddenly arose for Mittank after he went to the beach and got into an argument over football and was involved in a fight which left him with injuries to his ear. He visited a doctor who advised him to avoid flying for a few days, so Mittank decided to prolong his stay in Bulgaria to receive some additional medical attention. He told his friends to go on home without him, and he rented a room in a hotel in a seedy side of town. However, he was only in the hotel for one night. He sent a text to his mum telling her to cancel his credit card and that he was currently hiding from 4 men who he was having problems with. Mittank intended to return to the doctors the next day, but he failed to keep the appointment. Obviously, something had made him panic, and he made a run for it. Apparently, he'd headed to the airport, but then disappeared. Security footage shows Lars hopping a fence, running into a meadow, and then disappearing into a forest, and he was never seen again. To make Lars' disappearance more bizarre, there was a post recently published on Reddit where a man from Canada claimed to have seen Lars in Ontario. He said he tried to speak to Lars but could not understand him because he was speaking in German. This supposed sighting of Lars has not been verified, and his whereabouts are still officially unknown. Number 3. Anton Polipa. In Toronto in 2012, Anton Polipa was due to appear in a local court for charges of assault and possessing a weapon, but then completely vanished. As time passed, it seemed less likely that Polipa, who also suffered from schizophrenia, would be found. Strangely though, 5 years later in 2017, he was discovered wandering near Manaus in the Amazon rainforest. Incredible as it may seem, he had somehow crossed 10 borders without any form of ID or documentation before he wound up in Buenos Aires, where he was denied entry. He then headed to Brazil, where he was picked up by police who took him to the hospital. He escaped from the hospital to find his way into the forest, where he disappeared once again. However, he was later found and his family were informed of his whereabouts through social media. It's still unknown how the man was able to travel so far without having any ID or documentation. Number 1. Rosalind Berlinguer. 20-year-old Rosalind Berlinguer left with 2 friends for the garden route in the Western Cape in South Africa in 1969. The trio were to spend a long weekend together at a drug hangout known as Sugar House. Not long after arriving, Rosalind decided to take a walk through the Knysna forest nearby. she left for the forest with a Bible under her arm and never returned. Over 24 hours passed before they reported her missing, and by then heavy rain had washed away her tracks, not to mention any other evidence that might have helped locate where she was. However, it didn't take long for speculation about what had happened to her. Some people believe she was a member of the Cosmic Butterfly and that she went to the forest for a drug party before disappearing. She could have become disorientated, then lost in the forest because of the drugs. Other people believe she may have been killed by another member of the cult. There were also rumours that she had left the country, as people have reported seeing her overseas. There were also some local sightings of her. Unfortunately, the truth about why she disappeared and where she is remains a complete mystery. Make sure to check out Michael Scott's Haunted Forest video and subscribe to his channel for more spooky videos.